right, you guys, welcome back again. The second time around, okay? If first you don't succeed, just
Try,
get up,
try.
dust yourself off, and just try again. So first of all, let me first apologize. Y'all, baby, I can't tell y'all what's going on with the technicals and the all the things. If I had an answer, I promise you I would give it to you. But I do want to first apologize for the inconvenience, us having a live, then the live ended, all the back noise. It was a lot. But unfortunately, these things does happen. So I wasn't able to go live right now on what I usually my device I usually go on. So I look kind of small. This is why I'm having to use my phone to go live. But I did want to apologize to my co-hosts as well as our viewers and replay watchers and all the things. Okay, but baby, I was determined that we're gonna get this worked out and fixed no matter what. And here we are. However, friend did so good doing the church announcements during my slight absence. I'm gonna let friend run it back. Go on, friend, run it back real quick.
Listen, friend who is already gone from the first church announcements. Okay, let me see if I can do it. welcome, welcome to tonight's episode. I'm trying to get it together.
Get it together,
So,
friend.
church announcements once again, since I did it so well, you already know what it is. If you have not subscribed to our channels, like what are you waiting on? Make sure you subscribe to Sean's podcast, which is Deep Conversation with Sean, and mine is Journey with Dina. Okay. Always make sure you hit that notification bell so you will always be notified when we go live. Okay. If you drop down, if you come back later and watch the replay, don't forget to put in the chat, watch the replay, and always speak to us when you come on. You know your
Please
mom
and thank you.
is better than that. If you walk in the house and you don't speak, my mama will put you back out the house and tell you to try again. And I told
Hmm.
you I used to do the same thing at work. I walk in and they looking at me crazy because I said good morning. I walk back out the room. Said, let's try this again. I said good morning. Okay. So don't forget to speak to us because y'all been doing so well on that. Okay. Hello, Angela. Thank you for joining us for the second time around. You know,
Okay.
life is a charm. Okay.
Yes, it is. And in the words of Nene Leaks, I said what I said. Okay. All right, you guys. So let's get into it. We're going to have our conversation and we're going to ask the question when loyalty becomes a liability. Now, y'all know for those who did not watch our last video from last week, what y'all doing, because go watch it, okay? But stay right here first. But when this finished, then you go over there and look at it. But we had the conversation about when your spouse and your friend don't like each other, right? And we was talking about how this lady said she ended a friendship over a man and woo woo woo. But see, this gonna tie in with that friendship conversation in sense of when we sometimes will choose loyalty over common sense, where we would choose loyalty over what is the right thing to do. And when we choose loyalty, 9 times out of the 10, it really does become a liability. Now, Miss Dina, you the one who pushed this out here. What are your first thoughts when you hear loyalty has became a tinge of liability?
So when I think of that, I think as okay, this is only on one side. It's
Hmm.
working. My loyalty is working for you, but it's not working for me. And
Hmm.
here's the thing: even when this came up tonight, like real briefly, um, it's a lot of this going on, and this had been on my mind because I seen somebody post something about people not being loyal to you and all these types of things. So it made me sit back and think, like, dang, do I feel like I'm loyal to people? But I feel like it's different in different for different people, right? So loyalty is not just for, even though we do the topics of marriage, relationships, and friendship. So loyalty can become a liability in those things, as well as your jobs, your business, work, church, all of that, because people take loyalty too hard, and sometimes their loyalty has become a liability, and it could be for a couple of reasons. So not just one thing, but that's just my little spiel right there on that part. That part, okay?
Just that part, Fred.
Just that part, okay? Because baby, listen, I did my homework real quick. I was like, oh,
I'll say this. I do think that when loyalty comes in and you pick some great ones like church, work, friendship, whatever the case may be, we do tend to use loyalty over certain things. And let's use a job before we job and church can kind of go hand in hand, which can be, oh, I've been here for X amount of years. I don't want to start over. But in a work environment before we go to church, use the church as an example. As a work environment, you're not getting a raise, you're overworked, you're underpaid, no promotion in sight, and you're really there because you're afraid to start over.
mm-hmm,
Because you're saying, oh, I've been here 10 years, but it's not suiting you anymore. And the same thing when it comes to our church. Oh, I grew up in this church. Oh, I've been here, blah, blah, blah. Me and this lady go way back, or this guy, I brought people into this church to join, and what it looked like me leaving the church. And we
right,
stay there because of loyalty, but God gives everything a time frame, an assignment. And what we try to make it as to be a lifetime thing, God is like, no, this was actually meant to be 3 months, and you pushed it out to 3 years. You
mm-hmm,
weren't meant to be here this long. This was a stepping stone. Why are you making this your forever home? We
mm-hmm,
always want to, have a starter car. We always want to have a starter house, but we'll never want to do that when it comes to anything else.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We allow loyalty to take over everything. Okay, friend, what you got?
No, I was just about to say, yeah, because then loyalty to me, it kind of interacts with being comfortable. So you
Mm-hmm.
call it loyalty, but you're really just comfortable in those things that you're in, and you don't want to move for fear of, like you said, starting over, stepping out there to see what's new. And it's so crazy because I was having this conversation with one of my clients this past week, and it was about a relationship. And she felt their relationship was it was over and done, because of some things that has happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so I asked her the question, if you went back, would it be for your betterment or would it be for a hindrance? And she was like, well, because I really don't want to learn nobody else. I don't want to figure out what's their favorite color. I don't want to, get into learning what's their flaws, because here's the truth, even about women, because I'm gonna say it for myself, we get comfortable in, like, this thing, my note says people love to call dysfunction loyalty. We get
Mm-hmm.
comfortable in dysfunction because it's comfortable. We know it. And I said, so are you willing to forfeit, what you looking for in somebody else, because to stay in this toxic relationship that, and I say toxic meaning it's not producing any fruit.
Mm-hmm.
So are you willing to stay in that, or are you willing to step out of that and go for something else that God may have for you? Because I don't think God will call you to a relationship where you just settle. No, I don't think so. So because you are comfortable, now you became loyal to that situation because that's what you know. So that's, to me, when loyalty becomes dysfunction and a liability, because it's working for them, but it's not working for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what
And
I
I
want.
and I do think that sometimes loyalty and being comfortable can kind of be interchangeable and go hand in hand, because we're comfortable. Like you said, the lady said she didn't want to start over. She didn't want, then she listed out her reasons why she did. You're comfortable, but you're also loyal to this situation. But it's an unhealthy version of
Right.
loyalty. It's very unhealthy. And we don't want to come out of our comfort zone. And because we don't, you're more loyal to the toxicity of it all than your happiness.
Right.
You're
Right.
comfortable, but you're actually loyal to what's bad to you. You
Mm-hmm.
would rather stick it in and do all the things because of XYZ, but it's not serving you. It's not helping you. It's not doing anything for you, but keeping you in the run. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm one of them type of friends where I give you a couple of times to vent. Say what you got to say. Be mad, be happy, be sad, be all the things. And I give you my good godly advice that comes along with it. But you know what type of friends I am, baby? It's gonna get to a point where I'm gonna say, Dina, excuse my French, but either you gonna ish or get off the pot. I'm gonna need you to pick one. Cause ain't no point of us talking about this 50, 11 times and you're not about to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
clearly you like where you at.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly you like it. And then I get to the point, baby, I don't want to talk about it no more. If it ain't about to be about no change, don't worry about it.
Exactly.
I don't want to hear it anymore. Matter of fact, don't talk to me about it anymore. But we can talk about why you think the sky is blue. Let's talk about how many pieces of grass I have in my yard before we'll have the same conversation over and over again that you're not willing to change because you'll rather be loyal to the dysfunction and the toxicity of it all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's when you know it's a problem because you still won't talk about it. So it means it's still bothering you. You're just not ready to do anything about it. And so either
Hmm.
two things happen. Either the Lord pushes you or you finally get to a point
Hmm.
where I can't take it no more. I'm ready to do something different. I'm ready to move. But you know how long that takes for it depends on what it is and all the things that you forfeit in the midst of that. Like I have gotten to the point in my life. I don't know if it's because baby, once you hit that over 40, you like, look, I ain't got time for all this. I'm gonna either let's just jump out there and see what it is. What they say, you either gonna swim or sink.
Hmm.
So
Pick one.
what I got to lose? Nothing. So let's go ahead and even try. You know, that was one of the things that I told even my friends, you know, because, you know, we talked about last year, like when I had to leave my church that I had been at for over 20 years. And I told my friends that even though it was very uncomfortable for me because I was so familiar and I didn't want to leave there, I said, I'm not willing to forfeit what God has for me somewhere else. And that can be a job, like we said, church, relationship, or something else. But sometimes it takes people a long time to get there. And sometimes it don't wait on you. So you to forfeit
Hmm.
your blessing because you was what? It all ties back to disobedient. Okay.
Hmm. And I think the two biggest places I feel like loyalty and liability meet is definitely in relationships and in friendships.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the first two places. But let's talk about friendship first.
Okay.
So I know this person and a friend. I have a friend, and she had her and her other friend. They went to elementary school together, middle school together, college together. They even lived together at one point, and everything. And it became to a point to where everything just kind of came to a head. And to this day, they're no longer friends. And her and I was talking about it, and I was like, well, maybe y'all need to have a conversation. So y'all, I ain't just up here telling y'all stuff about having a hard conversation. No, I practice what I preach. I'm like, and this happened years ago. We're talking about maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. And I was like, hey, maybe y'all just need to have a conversation. You know, do you know her real problem? What are your real problems? Blah, blah, blah. And she was like, well, I don't know. Let me write it out in the letter. If she responds back, text me back in the letter, we'll go from there. We'll see. I said, okay, fine. That makes sense. Well, none of that ended up happening. So she came back to me and she was like, I'm starting to believe that she was never my friend to begin with. And I was like, whoa, that's a bold statement to say. Like, what are you talking about? Why would you say that? Y'all known each other for 100 years. Like, where's that coming from? And she will start running back all of these things. And let me tell you something about the Holy Ghost. He always talking, but it's up to us to listen and pay attention. And we look at these red flags as if it's a carnival, and it ain't. And let's tie this into relationships. We looking at the red flags as if it's a carnival, and he's showing us that, hey, this isn't your friend, or this isn't he's not going to make you a wife. Move on, right? But we stay anyway, right? So she ended up telling me all these things, and I was like, wow, okay, I didn't even know it was that deep. I didn't even know all these things was happening, blah, 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 blah. And she literally ended up saying, she was like, we look at the years of things and feel like it's a firm foundation, but I
Mm-hmm.
never had quantity. I never had quality, excuse me. All I had was quantity.
Mm-hmm.
And we like to be able to say, I've known her for 20 years, because it make us look good, and it give us a little piece of sense of pride to be able to say that you've known somebody for 20 years, or y'all still friends as 20 years. Because let's be honest, when it comes down to females, the going thing is that females don't know how to be friends to each other, and there's no such thing. And I don't mess with female, the list go on and on and on. So to those who do have female friends, we take it very pridefully that, oh, I still got a friend from such and such when. But she even said in that moment that it wasn't it was nothing but quantity. It was no substance. It was
Mm-hmm.
nothing. But we wanted to hold on because I've known her since elementary school.
Now, I will say that now sometimes in those instances, they could have been friends in that journey,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes one person gets to a point where they're going in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes people like to discount and say, oh, we were never friends. But I think, now I'm not saying this is the case, but I'm saying this
Mm-hmm.
is a reality as well. They could have been friends for that time, but I've gotten to a point where I want some different things. I'm gonna say we might have ran the streets together, deal we did. I'm more of spiritual now, so I'm leaning towards a different direction. So we might not be friends on that level right now, but sometimes they were friends. It's just that we grew apart. And a lot of people, some people like to say we were never friends, and then some people, now all of them ain't always been friends, but it's a fine line between those things. And I think a lot of people know, because I have a friend who she's been friends with somebody for years. They're supposed to be best friends. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out now, if me and you friends and you got a best friend, that means I'm gonna see your friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I ain't never seen your friend at no functions that we'd have been at, girl, that ain't your friend.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I just be watching, because people don't really know what they know what friends are, but they so I feel like lazy in friendships
Mm-hmm.
till it's just like. So shoot, I ain't gonna say prideful, but I be like, well, girl, yeah, we've been friends for such time. However, not it ain't just friends like that. It's friends with the years and the fruits of it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then you every friendship has they kind of seasons. And then like we always talk about, once you know your friends, you can move accordingly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's just my thing, because when you know your friends, it makes your life easier, because
Mm-hmm.
you don't hold them to a standard that you to put in your mind, and you hold them to, it is what it is. I know Sean go, when I call her, she gonna
Mm-hmm.
show up. I
Mm-hmm.
ain't gotta talk to her every day, every week, or whatever. And that's what matters. Like you said, the
Mm-hmm.
quality over the quantity.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
I agree. And when we talked about our topic yesterday about the friendship ending and everything else, that lady was a married woman, but the quote unquote friend tried to make her seem like she was just dating a guy boyfriend, and she ended the relationship over a man slash boyfriend, but it was really her husband. But more importantly, liability can come in because as a married woman, we can't be so loyal to somebody outside our covenant than the person that we have covenant with. And that's when you start running into some real deal problems, issues, all of the above. Now you're feeling ready to run into some stuff because it's becoming a very much of a liability. You are choosing other people over what is correct, or you're choosing situations versus what makes sense for you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And you don't want no liabilities on your hand. Go ahead, friend.
Right. So let me give you the breakdown of what I got on my homework for today, right? Since you said that, so it has marriage covenants over loyalty. I'm gonna give you the I ain't gonna say the benefits, the difference in the marriage and the friendship, right? So it says marriage loyalty is covenant, just like you
Mhm.
said. It's not casual, it's rooted in unity, accountability, and shared destiny. The core markers of it is protection of the union. You guard the marriage, not outside opinions. The transparency, no secret lives, no hidden loyalties. Baby, I can't even say the word. Prioritize. Your
Mhm.
spouse comes before your friends, family, and comfort. Let's put a pin even right there. And I wasn't gonna even put a pin in there. I went to this church and they was doing a series on kingdom families, right? He gave the roles of the wife, the husband. He had it broke down in all sections, right?
Mhm.
I did not know until I went to that class that time that you know how they always say when the man leaves and cleaves and the husband and wife become one, that your spouse comes before your kids. I was like, what? Because
That
in my
what
mind,
comes that what comes before the kids?
your spouse.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
So I was like, what? That was kind of foreign to me because I had never heard it like that. But it made
Mhm.
so much sense because I've seen so many marriages broken and tore apart because they allowed their kids to come before their spouse. And it
Mhm.
created a whole atmosphere. And then what? A couple of years later, the child had moved on across town and they gone on about their business and your house still broken because you allowed them to cut up in your house. Okay. That's all I got
Mhm.
right there. So the
Mhm.
next one is accountability. You tell the truth even when it's uncomfortable. Shared responsibility. You carry the weight together. And alignment. Decisions are made with us and not me and mine. Marriage loyalty is about preserving the covenant and not preserving feelings. Now, in addition to that, the one it has on friendship, relational loyalty. Friendship loyalty is relational, not covenant. It's rooted in support, honesty, and mutual respect, but it has boundaries. You support without entitlement. Friends don't get to override your marriage. Honesty without intrusion. They can speak truth, but they don't get to author it. Respect your priorities. Real friends do not, and I repeat, do not compete with your spouse. Mutuality, the relationship works when both people show up. And then you have freedom where friendships shift as seasons shift, and that is healthy. That is one thing that I wish a lot of people took more into accountability of is that when seasons shift, friendship shift. And it's
Mhm.
not always a bad thing. It don't mean I don't love you. It just means that I'm at a different time and season in my life where I can't be maybe what you need me to be right now, or
Mhm.
I need some space, or I'm on something different right now. I don't love you any different. But I feel like even in that, it's a way to handle that. Like you ain't gotta be rude when I call. Let me tell you, my pet peeve is when people don't answer the phone when I call them. That irks me so bad. Now, you may be busy. Shoot me a text and say, hey, I'm busy, call you later. Maybe you ain't see it, but respond to me in that same day. It irks me so bad when you see people. I seen you on Facebook. I seen your green light on. I know you have seen me called you in that day. And that bothers me when I'm trying to get better on it and just let people be, because one thing I had to learn is that people don't do things the way you do it. Everybody don't do things
Right.
the same. And it's just me. I'm that type of person. If you call me, I'm gonna call you back. I'm gonna shoot you a text, because if you holding your phone and you on the phone, the little message thing come up. You can pick any one of the messages, hit the button, say, sorry, can't talk right now, call you later. Something. Give me something.
Mm-hmm.
That just, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where that came from, but it just irks me. Oh, and my last piece was, it said, friendship loyalty is about showing up and not being central. That's all.
Y'all heard it right. Y'all answer the phone with Dina Kyle.
I got a little better than that, because I ain't gonna give you but maybe two times. I'm just over it, because I just don't like that. I'm just calling, checking on you, or if I call you twice, that means I need something or I want something.
Mm-hmm.
I know you might say, well, you can just text them. I don't like texting like that. I like to have a conversation with you, because texting can get taken out of content and it can go a
That's
different
true.
way,
Yeah.
depending on what the conversation is.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to talk a lot, so my texting gonna be too much, and I rather just say, "Hey, Sean, what's your woo woo woo? All right, bye." It ain't gonna be too much.
Mm-hmm. I'm
That's
a
my
little bit of both. I'm a texter and a talker. I'm both. I am a little bit of both. I don't mind doing either or. I'm
okay.
okay either way. Now, if the conversation getting too much, I'm like, girl, call me, because I ain't finna text all of these. Now, that's one thing. But anyway, we were going off on a whole tangent about texting and talking off the phone. That ain't what we here to talk about, y'all. All right, you guys. But yeah, there you have it, you guys. We almost coming up on our 30-minute um time frame, not including our other 4 minutes, child, that we had messed up. But we ain't gonna talk about that, all right? We here with now. But yes, we're going to do things, and let's be more intentional about some of the things that we're thinking about doing and all the things. And y'all know I like to give homework, and I ain't gonna make it a homework, but make it like a mental note of things. And if the Lord guides you to write it out, then you follow the Holy Spirit. But definitely, think about some things that we give too much loyalty to, and it's not serving you in any way. Now, if it is a job, now I ain't gonna tell y'all to quit y'all job. Don't you do that. Don't y'all do that. But talk, figure it out. Start looking for other positions. Go talk to your manager, your supervisors, or something. But if you are in a place that you feel that it is no longer serving you, and you know that, hey, I've been more loyal to this than I need to, there'll probably be something you might probably need to look at and reevaluate. Okay, don't go quitting everything unless you having sex with that man you know ain't supposed to. Now you go ahead and quit that right then and there, okay? Because you know you ain't supposed to be doing that. You know that. And whoever that's for you. Okay.
She ain't talking about me, y'all. I don't know what she's talking about. She's talking about y'all on the
And
line.
replay watcher, whoever that is, you know you ain't supposed to be doing it. Now that's something you quit right there and there. All right. I said what I said in my Nene Leaks voice. All right.
All
Now,
right.
but outside of that, y'all, come on. We can go to the Lord in prayer. We don't need to just go to God when our stomach hurt, when we got a bad report from the doctor, when it's a bill that came in that you can't pay. Like, we don't need to go to him to just those things. He said you come to him about any and everything. And go
And
to him. Huh?
I said, in all thy ways, acknowledge him.
Everything. All of it. He didn't say this part, that part, in everything. Go to him. Talk to him about it. Talk it over. Let me holler at you real quick, God, because it's how I'm feeling. All right. All right, you guys. That's all we have. We don't have any more. Thank you again for all our replay watchers. Thank you again for the people who came back a second time due to the inconvenience that we had on the front end. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It was a struggle, but baby, we pushed it out. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. It threw me off a whole lot. But we made do. We came back and we did what we had to do. Any last words, Miss Dina?
Well, see, I got a little, my little ending prayer for that because you hit me with one last week and I ain't had one, so I had to make sure I had one day because you called on me at the last minute. So it just said, y'all, we gave y'all some Bible because we're gonna give y'all some scripture. So we're gonna be a little messy, but it ain't gonna be that kind of messy. And then we're gonna always bring you back around you all on.
Always.
Okay. So it says, God, thank you for the truth that you revealed on tonight. Thank you for showing us where our loyalty has been holy and where it has been heavy. We release every relationship, expectation, and obligation that has kept us. We release the guilt, the fear, and the pressure to carry what was never ours. And we receive your wisdom, the kind that protects our peace and guides our steps. Teach us to love without losing ourselves. Teach us how to honor people without abandoning the boundaries you gave us. Teach us how to be loyal in ways that are healthy, mutual, and in line with your purpose. Cover every listener tonight. Give them courage to make the hard decisions, clarity to see what's no longer serving them, and the strength to walk away from anything that drains their identity. Until next time, let's
Talk
unload.
to you guys later. Bye.